as a roadmap for success. That is what we're talking about today. Using your data from last week, last month, last year to start making decisions for the future. So many times people will come to me, just one of my clients, and they'll ask me questions. And as I start pulling out more data from them, they're like, I don't know. I'd have to check. I'm not sure. And those are all things that I really want you to be careful with, because if you are not measuring and managing that information, we really can't properly pick your next best step, right? So, in our well oiled operations framework, I am always using data to move the needle forward. And sometimes I have to make educated guesses, right? I have to decide, okay, I think this is what happened. I think this is what we're seeing, and then I use that information to test next week. But I'm testing. And then I use the data to figure out, was I right or was I not? All right. Now, you probably have certain consistent responsibilities that your team members have, and probably for you as well, right? But when you think about those requirements, are they tasks that are assigned really to sales focused, right? Really going to get results versus just, yes, we posted on social. Yes, we sent out our weekly newsletter, right? But how do we figure out what is actually working and happening? Okay. You and your leaders need to be setting goals by looking at your past data. So every single Monday, I am seeing the team's KPIs, key performance indicators, 3 to 5 metrics for each person. Okay. I am looking at specific things like, what was our click through rate inside of our emails? Are people actually clicking and going there, right? Are people replying to our emails if we ask an open ended question? Why was the Facebook group so engaged last week? What happened, right? And then here's what I'll tell you. I had been starting to send out community. We use the community software for text messaging. And I started sending you all, whoever has signed up, reminders via community every single Thursday at 11 when I go live. And all of a sudden, one week, we're looking at our KPIs, and all of a sudden we go, wow, why is the Facebook group so much more engaged? There's so many more people coming in and it's more engaged. And we had to look at, well, what did we do last week? Oh, we started adding the text message, right? So every week we've kept the text message, because it is, people, first of all, have said, like, thanks for actually letting me know when you're going live. And we're letting them know what it's about so they can choose to see, is this a good topic for me or not, right? And jump in. But it is helping our growth in our Facebook group as well as our engagement. Another thing that we started doing that we noticed too. So if you saw my Instagram stories yesterday, I have a pre-recorded story that I do, and I think she does it probably like every other week. And she posts on Wednesday to say, hey, are you a member of our free Facebook group, Foot Traffic Operations? And then it basically gives a generic spiel about how I will be going live tomorrow at 11 a.m. Come join me. Can't wait to see you there, right? So she's been doing that on Wednesdays. And what happens on Wednesdays? We get an influx of people requesting to join the group. So we use that data to say, let's keep doing that. Now, we can't keep using the same exact one of me in the tan shirt that you're going to be like, oh, here's her pre-recorded thing again, right? It starts to get old. But what I could start to do is say, let's make, 6 variations of that, or maybe that's excessive. Maybe 3 or 4 variations, right? You probably won't remember in 6 weeks if I'm wearing the same shirt and say the same thing, right? So how can we start to look at what happened last week, what happened last month? And it doesn't necessarily need to be always positive. It could be, why was last week so low? How do we fix it? How do we make that better? Okay. Now, when you set up clear KPIs, right, that are defined and they are sales focused, everybody knows exactly what they're working towards and why. Okay. So I want you really thinking about what is happening now. What is assigned to everybody? Do they even have these types of metrics? And what types of metrics are they? Are they helping you with your bottom line? Are they helping you get more leads, better conversion, right? Think about each one of those. Okay, next, here's how we're going to do this specifically. So number one, we want 3 to 5 first, 3 to 5 per person as a 90-day test. 90-day test, that's it. So everybody always says to me, okay, Stacey, I just don't know what to do. Like I have a chef like in the kitchen. Like I don't know what I'm supposed to do with him, right? And we're trying to work through like what does this look like? So let me give you an example of this. Okay, now somebody might think, I don't know, do I count the number of orders that he like meals that he's making? Well, think about this. Like, does he control the number of meals made? No, not really, right? But what he does control is wait time, how long it takes. Like, I remember when I worked at McDonald's back in the day, we had this like computer, and on the computer, it would be the drive through times. And we would basically have to like hurry and put out the meal and then click that it was done. So that our drive through time wait started to decrease, right? And then they had to report those numbers to probably the franchise owner or something, right? So they would use that information to go, how long is the wait time? Because we don't want a wait time of 10 minutes and people see a long drive through and then they don't come back, right? So think about how do they actually help the business? Number of orders, not so much. They're not the ones responsible for that, right? Somebody who's coaching in one of our coaching programs inside of Well-Oiled Operations, they are encouraged, their KPIs look like retention or show up rate, right? Engagement rate of our clients. I might be thinking, how in the world could a coach be responsible for engagement? Now, there are things they can do to help engagement. They can message you to say, hey, Sarah, we're live. Like Stacy's teaching right now. Like get on the Zoom call, like get in there and ask her a question, right? That could encourage a show up rate. Now, are there some people that are so checked out of anything they do that they don't check their emails, they don't check their texts? And do I hold that responsible for my team? No, but we do try to keep a average engagement rate of 85% in our programs. And I will tell you week after week, that is what my team is doing. And if it's 75 one week, we go, whoa, what happened? Why is that happening? Who is it? Do I need to say, hey, listen, I can't keep taking your money if you're not going to show up, right? And kind of be a little bit of like tough love to get people back in our programs to know like, hey, it is a privilege to get to stay. You don't just get to pay and not show up, right? So what do we need to do for that? A CEO's KPI. CEO should have KPIs. Daily cash collected. That should be a big one. What did we bring in yesterday? And if it's zero, and then another zero the next day, this is where we start to use that data to fix our actions moving forward. Okay, next. Remember I said 90-day test. I want you to reevaluate these on a quarterly basis, okay? Now, sometimes you throw these numbers out and you have no idea what is good, what is bad, what should happen. We started doing a new strategy on Instagram and I said, Bella, maybe like 5 a week would be cool. This is a certain response, okay? The first week she got 50. Like we had no idea. And then I thought, well, maybe it's new and just week 1 was good. So then she tried it the next week and it was still pretty high, like close to 50. So we realized, okay, we're not going to reevaluate in 90 days. Like we did it wrong. So we just went in there and said, okay, Bella, what do you think? Do you think 50 is a good number that we should probably be keeping, or 55 and stretch us a little bit? Right. And we go in and change. So when I say reevaluate quarterly, I mean, after the initial shock of like, whoa, we're so off here, find your groove, figure out what it looks like, and then 90 days say, are these truly the numbers? So inside of our powerhouse, we just had a presentation by the amazing Michelle Fernandez, and she shared with us how email open rates pretty much don't mean anything anymore. That there's just, with all the cookies and things going on, it's just really hard to track who's actually opening. And she basically told us like it's probably no longer a great KPI. So even though our KPI right now, we do have open rates down, we're reevaluating, should that be a KPI we still track for next quarter, right? So every 90 days, like things change. Maybe a strategy that Bella was crushing on Instagram is no longer effective. And what she was getting 50 on, she's getting 2 because everybody is doing that strategy. So it doesn't work anymore. So reevaluate every 90 days. Okay, next. Performance evaluations. This is a really, really big one that a lot of people aren't doing. When you reevaluate quarterly, what I want you to do is give performance reviews, performance evaluations to each of your team members every 90 days. They should know what is happening. Am I doing a good job? Am I meeting expectations? And what do you need to see from me? Should they get the raise or not? This will help them understand if they're up for a raise, if it makes sense, okay? So KPIs will help them understand how they've been doing, right? If you set them too high, Don't punish your team. Like if I decided, hey, Amy, I want this number to be 100 every week. And then we start and she's doing a great job, but she's getting 20. I'm not going to go, well, Amy, you missed the 100. No raise for you, right? I'm going to look at that and say, okay, maybe we overestimated what we think. How many of you have overestimated before, right? You're like, oh, I'm starting a Facebook ad tomorrow and it's going to like blow up my business. And then you're going, oh, it didn't get approved. And then this happened, right? You maybe shoot a little too high sometimes. I definitely do that too. So how can we make sure we are working with them, not punishing when they don't hit those numbers, right? If anything, if they're not doing a great job, there's more room for improvement, share that with them. How can I support you? Or here is what I want to see you doing to hit those KPIs, okay? Set them up to win, but make sure you're stretching them. So if somebody's hitting consistently, let's say, I'm trying to think of one of our KPIs. Let me think of a person. Let's say Christina. So let's say Christina's KPI, well, I'm like giving bad ideas here. I'll go back to Bella because everybody's going to get social media. You probably either have social media or you're doing social media, right? So if I had a KPI for a social media manager, one of the things that we are tracking is our engagement, okay? Our social media engagement. So we have a specific percentage. So as we're looking at that percentage, if all of a sudden that number starts to massively shrink, if you just go, well, figure it out, it's your KPI, you need to figure out how to do this. You might not have somebody who's the visionary in that role who can just figure it out. You may have hired a doer and they need you to be the vision. How many times have you done that before? And you're like, why is she not getting it? Why is he not doing this? And it's because they're just here to implement and you haven't given them the system to implement, right? So let's say Bella's engagement rate is, I don't even know what this would be. Let's just say like 5%. Okay. Like 5% of followers or something. So if engagement rate is 5% and she's been hitting it every week, 5%, 5.2, 5.3. My point here is set them up to win, but set them up to stretch themselves. I'm not going to say 5 if she's been hitting 5.2. I might say 5.5, right? Depending on what the growth really could look like. That is a big one I want you thinking about. Okay. So remember, a team of few that focuses intentionally on the 3 KPIs for each member, you will see so much quicker and more measurable results than a team of 20. I have seen lots of people on a team that are a hot mess. And I have seen a team of like 3, 4 people crushing it because they are so crystal clear on where the goal is, what to do, all the things. Okay. Now, if you want to grab we have a document inside of well-oiled operations. It is 75 different metrics you could be tracking. We do not track all 75. Trust me, there's no reason unless you have that many people on your team. Remember, 3 to 5 per person. If there's 2 of you, you get 6 to 10. Okay. So do the math. This is to show you what it could be for you to decide what that looks like. So comment the word metrics below or DM me on Instagram, the word metrics, and I will send you that PDF of all the different things and all the different departments you could be tracking. Now, most of the people on our team, I really want them having around that number 3. Okay. For somebody where, man, I like Bella's a big one with social media. There's a lot of stuff I want to track, a lot. So with that, I might say, all right, she's going to be a 5 person. Like we're going to have 5 things because I want to know the Facebook group. I want to know our Instagram. I want to see what's happening on YouTube, right? But when you have 10, now think about it. Bella as social media could have 1 million. Like she could have Instagram follower, Instagram engagement, comments and shares. Like that's just Instagram. There's 1 million platforms we're on, right? But then if you do that, guess what happens? Balls start dropping because she's not sure where the focus should be. She's trying to grow YouTube and get you up on LinkedIn and set up your Pinterest. And then she's like, oh yeah, we forgot to post on Facebook this week, right? So you want to make sure they are crystal clear on the 3 to 5 biggest things. Now, Bella has her 3 to 5, and not one of them has to do with like Pinterest or LinkedIn right now. That doesn't mean we're not looking at how to grow on LinkedIn, how to grow on Pinterest. It's just not one of her top 5 KPIs that she tracks. It's just not one of her priorities, right? So if you went to our Instagram and you just scrolled and you went to our LinkedIn, you would say Instagram is so much better than LinkedIn. And it should be because it's one of our priorities. LinkedIn is not currently a priority. Now, I think LinkedIn could be great. I think we could make a lot of money from LinkedIn. but we don't have the manpower because I'm doing number of people on our team times 3 to 5 KPIs. The math just doesn't work out. So as much as I want to kill it on LinkedIn, I don't have the numbers on my side. As the business grows and I decide to go, okay, time to hire another person, I might decide to say, hey, let's focus some of our energy and attention over there. Okay. But until then, we're not going to do that. Now, if you are listening to this and you're thinking, I don't have 3 to 5, I have lots of things I want to be good at. And I've been delegating all this stuff and we're all focusing on lots of things, but you feel mediocre at a lot of things, it's because there's no true priority. When you change this, the business will change. Our Instagram growth every single week is better and better and better. Every week. And I shouldn't say growth, I mean engagement. That's like our biggest thing that we're tracking. Yes, we want to grow, but I want to make sure that when I'm putting out content, people are liking the content and they're engaging with the content. So that's one of our main focuses. So is it any surprise that one of our main focuses is growing every single week, right? It makes sense. So I want to make sure you are thinking about this. Again, comment below the word metrics or DM us on Instagram, the word metrics, and I'll send you over a PDF of 75 different types of things. It's broken down into 2 departments. So if you see marketing, client delivery, operations, that's all going to be inside of there for you to figure out and pick like what comes next for you. All right. I hope you enjoyed today's trainings. We just mapped out the next, oh my goodness, basically from now until the end of September, we have every single Thursdays live picked out. Some really, really good topics that we've never covered coming your way. Make sure to mark your calendars every Thursday, 11 a.m. Central. We're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. I think those are the 3 places. So make sure to catch us at one of those every Thursday at 11 a.m. Central. Have a phenomenal rest of your day. Happy 4th of July to the Americans. Happy Canada Day to the Canadians last weekend. Hope you guys had a great week and I'll see you soon. Bye, everyone.